Nancy Desjardins and welcome to my greenhouse. Right now it's looking messy. It's quite normal at this time of the year. In the fall, what I do is I bring my garden tools and my flower plants, my flower pots, and all inside for the winter. So right now, this weekend I'm getting ready to disinfect, organize, and clean the greenhouse. So what I'm going to do is to disinfect the greenhouse, I'm going to use water and hydrogen peroxide, and I'm going to disinfect. I'm going to scrub the working area, also the glass, and to organize the place so it looks amazing when I start planting my seeds. Okay, so and then for the soil, I've talked about that before. The compost. I spend a lot of time taking care of my compost for the outside garden and also the greenhouse, which I'm going to talk about, which we're going to talk about in my next teleclass. So I'm going to talk about this in this video. But what I did in the fall, I believe it was the first week of November, is I add compost back into the soil. And so I add the compost, I cover the compost, the soil with leaves, and then I add some newspaper, and I let it sit for the winter. So this weekend what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove everything, the leaves and the newspaper, and then I'll be ready to plant the seeds. But I won't plant my seeds this weekend because right now, today is what, March 29th, and it's still very cool. Right now it's really hot, warm in the greenhouse, but at night it gets cool. It gets really cold, and we can't. Yeah, we could bring the heat in the greenhouse, but as you know, we're off the grid, and we need the power for the house. So, and if we bring the power here, then it does take a lot of energy. So we're gonna have to wait maybe another 2 weeks, 3 weeks maximum. But in the meantime, I'm going to organize the greenhouse, so we're really ready to plant the seeds. And I just wanted to point out this, in this area, what I'm going to plant is I'm going to plant like kale, for example, kale, Swiss chard, a lot of greens, so I can start eating the greens as soon as possible. So within, I would say, maybe 4 to 5 weeks, we should be able to eat some greens from the greenhouse. And I wanted to remind you about my teleclass with Kathleen Harriott. She's the author of the 0 Mile Diet, and she is, Kathleen has 30 years experience in organic gardening, and it's amazing. I think we need to know this kind of information, and I hear so much from especially women that complain about not having enough energy. And look at the title, the 0 Mile Diet. It doesn't say the 1,000-mile diet, it says the 0 Mile Diet. It boils down to good health begins in the kitchen. Okay, you don't need a huge greenhouse or a big greenhouse like mine. Mine is not that big, but you don't need that, a greenhouse to be healthy. It's just that keep it simple. If you've never gardened before, keep it simple. You can start in the kitchen. You can start building a small garden in your backyard. Could be on your patio. You can start with herbs. We need those nutrients back into our body. You're not getting those nutrients from box or can or jars. You're getting them from fresh produce. And so we're going to talk about that. So on the teleclass, we're going to talk about how to nourish your soil, the do's and the don't about compost. I spend a lot. The compost, as far as I'm concerned, is probably the most important component when you start gardening, because I do spend a lot of time on compost. And we're going to talk about that, the do's and the don'ts on the compost, and also garden design. I'm into the garden design. I like things looking nice. So there's some great tips in the book. So if you're a beginner, you just want to venture a little bit into gardening, then this would be a really good book to invest. There's also some great recipes as well. And so on this teleclass, I'm going to share my experience, because I've been gardening now for 3 years, and it's a hobby of mine. I so enjoy it that, of course, I'm going to share some of my some of my experience, and then Caroline will share definitely her 30 years experience on the call. So below this video, click on the link to reserve your space to join us on this teleclass. So you'll have access to the telephone number and also the link to listen to the teleclass via your computer. And also, please leave a comment below this video and let me know, or let everybody know what you're doing. Do you have a greenhouse? What are you growing in your greenhouse? What are you planning to grow in your garden? Doesn't have to be a big show. Whatever what you're doing, share with everybody. And so I really hope you enjoy this video clip. And if you have any question, leave your question below this video. So bye for now.